Have you ever let the phone keep ringing, secretly hoping it would slip to voicemail? Or stood frozen when someone knocked, wishing they would just go away? What if I told you these quiet urges aren't signs of becoming a recluse, but rather a hidden truth about aging that few people ever talk about? These subtle shifts, the pull to retreat into solitude, are far more powerful than you might imagine. They reveal the psychological reasons for avoiding people as you age, reasons that may reshape how you view yourself and your relationships. Have you noticed this change in your own life? In this video, we uncover 6 compelling insights that will not only explain your craving for solitude, but also show why embracing it can be a profound act of self-love, an act that may even add years to your life. So stay with me until the end, because understanding these truths is the first step toward aging with wisdom, peace, and strength. Now, let's begin with reason number 1. Your tolerance for nonsense plummets as the years add up. With time, your capacity to endure the trivial, the chaotic, and the emotionally draining aspects of social interaction begins to fade. In your youth, you might have accepted gossip, meaningless small talk, or endless monologues as the price of connection. But with age, that willingness erodes, replaced by a strong resolve to guard your emotional space. This isn't something that happens overnight. It's a gradual awakening. You begin to see the recurring patterns: the friend who thrives on drama, the acquaintance who never listens, the obligations that drain instead of uplift. And at some point, a quiet inner voice tells you, enough. At first, the voice inside is quiet, but then it grows firm, declaring, I've had enough. This is the moment you stop forcing a laugh at jokes that fall flat or sting with cruelty. You no longer feel the need to entertain opinions built on ignorance or shallow thinking. Slowly, you begin stepping away from those who drain your vitality through their constant neediness, negativity, or self-absorption. This shift isn't about becoming harsh or judgmental. It's a profound act of self-preservation, a conscious choice to protect your limited time and energy. After years of trial and error, you've developed a sharp radar for what can only be called emotional noise, the endless chatter that clouds your mind, weighs on your spirit, and adds nothing of value to your life. With this clarity comes courage, the courage to silence that noise, to draw boundaries that once felt impossible. Walking away from toxic dynamics or saying no to invitations that promise exhaustion instead of joy becomes an empowering act. It's a declaration that your inner peace is non-negotiable, a testament to the wisdom only time and experience can teach. By choosing authenticity over obligation, you free space for relationships that genuinely matter, leaving behind the clutter that once consumed your energy. Reason number 2. Your priorities undergo a deep and lasting transformation. With age comes a powerful shift in how you define what truly matters, reshaping the way you view your social world. In your younger years, choices were often guided by external measures: acceptance, popularity, or how many friends you could gather. You may have asked, how can I widen my circle? How can I be liked by everyone? How can I fill my schedule with events and commitments? These questions, while natural in the pursuit of belonging, often led to a life focused on quantity rather than quality. But as the years pass and experience accumulates, those concerns give way to more thoughtful, inward questions. Questions that reflect a new sense of clarity about what really deserves your attention. You begin asking different questions. How much emotional energy do I truly have to give today? Who brings light and warmth into my life? And who leaves me feeling drained or unseen? Who can I trust to accept me as I am without pretense? This shift in priorities signals a turning point, a move away from chasing popularity, external validation, or a crowded calendar, and towards something much deeper: inner peace, and authenticity. You start valuing your social world not by its size, but by its depth. Surface-level conversations, filled with polite small talk or recycled pleasantries, lose their charm. Instead, you yearn for exchanges that spark curiosity, stir emotions, and create real closeness. You gravitate toward people who truly see you, who respect your boundaries, embrace your quirks, and share your values. Relationships built on mere convenience or obligation no longer hold the same weight. When such authentic connections are scarce, you find comfort in your own company. This isn't loneliness. It's a deliberate, freeing choice. It's refusing to settle for hollow interactions and choosing to wait for relationships that feel genuine. It reflects a deeper understanding of your worth and a commitment to honor it. The result is a social circle that may be smaller than in your youth, but infinitely richer. It is woven from respect, understanding, and genuine care. By prioritizing quality over quantity, you create a life that feels lighter, more intentional, and deeply fulfilling. Reason number 3. Grief reshapes your social world. The landscape of your social world changes in profound and often unexpected ways. One of the most emotionally complex reasons for stepping back from social overload is the impact of grief. As you age, loss becomes an inevitable companion. Friends drift away with time, distance, or different life paths. Loved ones pass on, leaving behind memories that echo in quiet rooms. Romantic bonds may end. Friendships unravel under misunderstanding, and even casual connections slowly fade into the background. Each of these losses, whether sudden or gradual, takes a piece from the mosaic of your social life, leaving it smaller, quieter, and more contained. Often, you only realize the full extent of this shift when you pause to reflect. Grief isn't always a storm of tears. It can arrive as a calm, sobering awareness of life's impermanence, a reminder that even the most cherished relationships are not guaranteed to last. With this awareness comes clarity. For some, the pain of repeated loss leads to a conscious choice not to rebuild their social circle as it once was. This isn't about depression or defeat. It's a recognition of the limits of time and energy. You begin to see how fragile connection can be and how much effort it takes to sustain it. Naturally, you become more selective, saving your emotional energy for relationships that feel safe, reciprocal, and deeply meaningful. To those who haven't lived this reality, the change may appear as aloofness or disinterest, but in truth, it's an act of discernment. It's a quiet acknowledgement that your heart has loved deeply, endured great loss, and now seeks only what is secure and true. Shaped by grief, your soul speaks a new language. I've given much, I've carried loss, and now I choose only connections that honor my spirit and respect my boundaries. This isn't shutting the world out. It's curating a social life that reflects wisdom, authenticity, and the peace you've earned. The lessons of grief become a catalyst for transformation. They don't just narrow your social circle, they deepen it, adding a richness that only time and loss can bring. The relationships you choose to hold on to, or even to form anew, carry rare qualities: trust, vulnerability, and a shared commitment to emotional safety. You learn to cherish the present moment, to invest in people who uplift you, and to let go of those who no longer align with your evolving self. Your social world may be smaller, but it becomes a sanctuary built on authenticity, mutual care, and the wisdom earned from balancing love and loss. Reason number 4. The profound weight of social fatigue. Unlike ordinary tiredness, this is not something a nap or a cup of coffee can erase. It's a deep, lingering weariness, a kind of soul-level depletion that builds over decades of navigating the complex and often draining terrain of human relationships. Think of it like walking a tightrope, constantly balancing the needs, egos, and expectations of countless people, friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, even strangers. You've played many roles: the patient listener enduring a friend's endless complaints, the peacemaker at family gatherings, the entertainer keeping conversations alive at parties despite your own fatigue. Over the years, you've adjusted your schedule for others, held your tongue during careless remarks, or feigned interest in topics that left you uninspired. Each of these moments, though sometimes meaningful, quietly takes its toll, like small withdrawals from an emotional bank account. And unlike in youth, the reserves no longer replenish as easily as they once did. Picture a simple lunch with an acquaintance who talks non-stop, drifting from their job to their vacation to their neighbor's dog. Though harmless, their chatter floods your mind, leaving you more exhausted than before you sat down. You leave that lunch mentally foggy, struggling for the rest of the afternoon to focus on even the simplest tasks. Or picture a lively family gathering, where overlapping voices compete for attention. Your brother's fiery political speech, your aunt's detailed account of her surgery, your niece's rapid updates about her social life. What might once have felt like an energizing social tapestry now resembles a demanding mental triathlon, each conversation draining patience, focus, and emotional energy. The result is a craving for silence, a need to retreat into your own space to recalibrate. Over time, you start viewing social invitations differently, not with bitterness, but with caution. You decline the casual coffee meeting that feels like duty rather than joy, or skip the neighborhood potluck that promises hours of empty small talk. Instead, you prioritize rest, solitude, and activities that truly restore you. This isn't about shutting people out. It's about recognizing that your peace is a sacred, limited resource, one you've earned through years of giving yourself to others. Protecting that peace becomes an act of self-preservation, a quiet rebellion against the pressure to always be present and available. You guard it fiercely because you know how easily it can slip away. This leads us to the misunderstood sanctuary of solitude. Society rarely admits this truth, perhaps because it challenges long-standing cultural myths. Older individuals are not inherently lonely. In fact, many find deep contentment in their own company. Yet popular narratives, reinforced by media, self-help advice, and even well-meaning loved ones, insist that happiness depends on constant connection. We are told that fulfillment is found in crowded dinner tables, group outings, and endless engagements. The message seems clear. The more people around you, the richer your life must be. But reality is far more nuanced. True connection is not measured by proximity or numbers. For many, the most meaningful connection isn't found in a crowded room, but in quiet, uninterrupted dialogue with oneself. It is the space where demands fade and the inner self can finally breathe. Imagine the calm of sitting on a porch at dawn, a warm mug of tea in your hands, listening to leaves rustle and birdsong in the distance. Picture the satisfaction of curling up with a favorite book, your thoughts drifting freely with the story, unburdened by the need to respond or perform. Or think of the simple peace of resting in a familiar chair, letting your mind wander through memories, dreams, or nothing at all. No agenda, no audience, no explanations. These moments of solitude are not empty or isolating. They are restorative, vibrant, and deeply fulfilling. They provide a sanctuary where you reconnect with your essence, free from the noise of others' opinions or expectations. Yet society often misinterprets this preference for solitude, labeling it as withdrawal, loneliness, or disinterest. In truth, nothing could be further from reality. Choosing solitude is not avoidance, it is evolution. It reflects the understanding that your inner world is rich, dynamic, and worthy of attention. It is the confidence to savor your own rhythm of life, to find joy in your thoughts without craving external approval. Far from retreating, embracing solitude is a powerful affirmation of your right to define what connection means to you. It is a quiet revolution, a reclaiming of time and energy for what truly nourishes your soul. Reason number 5. As you grow older, you acquire a remarkable gift, one that strengthens with each passing year: self-awareness. Unlike the fleeting confidence of youth, often tied to outside approval or untested ideals. This self-awareness is built from a lifetime of triumphs, failures, joys, and heartaches. It is a deep, hard-earned understanding of who you are at your very core. Over the years, you've mapped the contours of your inner landscape. You know what lifts your spirit: a heartfelt talk with a kindred soul, a quiet walk in the forest, or the joy of creating something with your hands. And you know what drains you: endless small talk, heated debates, or chaotic, inauthentic environments. You've identified your triggers, your limits, and the subtle signs that tell you when you're stretching yourself too thin. With this clarity comes a powerful instinct to protect your well-being. You no longer feel pressured to accept every invitation or endure dynamics that clash with your nature. If shallow conversations leave you empty, you steer them towards something meaningful, or step away entirely. When certain people, even unintentionally, stir old wounds or unsettle your emotions, you set boundaries. That might mean limiting contact, declining invitations, or redirecting interactions toward safer ground. These decisions aren't about punishment or grudges. They're about honoring the peace you've worked so hard to build. Think of a friend you care for, but who constantly brings up painful memories. In the past, you may have tolerated it out of loyalty or fear of seeming unkind. But with age and self-awareness, you recognize the toll it takes on your mental health, and you choose distance, not from malice, but from self-respect. This selective approach to social life is a quiet strength, a testament to wisdom earned through experience. It's the courage to say, "This doesn't align with who I am," and to act on that truth without apology. By curating your interactions with care, you're not just protecting your energy, you're affirming your right to live authentically, in harmony with the person you've become. Reason number 6, the sacred value of time. As the years pass, your relationship with time undergoes a profound shift, reshaping how you move through the world. In your 20s, an hour may feel like nothing, an endless resource easily spent on casual scrolling, unremarkable conversations, or events attended out of obligation. But by the time you reach your 60s or 70s, that same hour feels very different. As the years pass, even a single hour begins to feel like a precious jewel, carrying weight and brilliance that demands respect. You become acutely aware of time's limited nature, its steady march forward, and the truth that every remaining hour is priceless. This awareness sharpens your mindfulness, urging you to consider not only how you spend your time, but also who you share it with, and whether those moments leave you enriched or drained. Every social commitment carries two costs: time and energy. A long dinner with a friend who listens and uplifts you can leave you renewed, your heart full. But a short encounter with someone who dominates the conversation with complaints or negativity can cloud your entire day, draining clarity and emotional strength. With this realization, you become a careful steward of your hours, investing them like a curator, choosing interactions that bring meaning, joy, and alignment with your values, while gently letting go of those that feel like obligations or empty demands. Often, this means choosing solitude over company, not because you dislike people, but because you've learned to value yourself enough to be selective. An evening alone with a simple home-cooked meal, soft music in the background, or a walk at dusk under a glowing sky can recharge you more than any crowded event. These choices reflect a profound respect for the life you've built, the lessons you've gathered, and the time you still have to live fully. Yet, others may not always understand. Friends might notice you're less social, their voices tinged with concern. Family may call you withdrawn, remembering the old you who never missed a gathering. Society itself often reinforces the idea that seeking solitude is a sign of loneliness or decline. But here's the truth. You have changed, and that's exactly the point. You're no longer the person who once said yes to every invitation, who filled every silence out of duty, or who placed others' comfort above your own well-being. You've grown into someone different. You begin to value authenticity over performance, depth over distraction, and peace over chaos. This transformation isn't about shutting people out or rejecting those you care about. It's about redefining connection, shaping a life that reflects your truest self. It's about learning to say no without guilt, saying yes only when it truly resonates, and releasing the need to justify your choices. After decades of triumphs, heartbreaks, growth, and resilience, you didn't come this far just to conform to someone else's vision of who you should be. You're not here to entertain, to please, or to sacrifice your peace to keep others comfortable. You are here to live authentically, to honor your feelings, and to make choices that reflect the wisdom you've earned. This shift toward selectivity and solitude is not a retreat. It is a triumph. It's the culmination of a life lived with courage, reflection, and intention. You are not rude or aloof. You are real. And with each passing year, that authenticity becomes more sacred, a living testament to your right to define what it truly means to live well. You've earned the freedom to guard your peace, to enjoy your own company, and to invest your time in ways that honor the person you've become. That is not only a choice, it's a legacy. As we journey through the later stages of life, a profound transformation begins to unfold. It reshapes not only how we engage with the world, but also how we see ourselves within it. This shift in social behavior, often mistaken for withdrawal, is much more than a desire to protect time or avoid stress. It is a reclamation of clarity, a deliberate recalibration of priorities, and a quiet rebellion against old expectations. It's about stepping into a sharper, more intentional version of yourself, one that sees beyond the surface with the precision only decades of experience can bring. This clarity isn't about memory, but about perspective. With age comes a deeper kind of awareness, not just cognitive sharpness, but a heightened sensitivity to the subtleties of human interaction. You develop an almost instinctive ability to see through the noise. The insincere smiles, the polished flattery, the friendships that drain more than they give, all of these become clear almost immediately. Where once it might have taken months of tension or a dramatic fallout to recognize misalignment, now a single conversation can reveal all you need to know. You hear the undertones, notice the contradictions, and sense the unspoken motives. This awareness, while freeing, can also be tiring. The social games you once played with energy or at least tolerance begin to feel like a performance you no longer wish to sustain. So, you step back. You simplify. You release the need to justify your decisions, to explain why you left early or why you didn't return a call. You no longer feel indebted to offer your presence just because it was once expected. From the outside, it may look like isolation, but from within, it feels like profound relief, a shedding of burdens you carried unknowingly for years. This transformation is also tied to a reevaluation of emotional labor, a role many take on without question in their younger years. Perhaps you were the family peacemaker, smoothing conflicts and holding relationships together. Maybe you were the friend who always remembered birthdays, organized gatherings, and kept connections alive. For years, you were the glue of your social world, but after decades of pouring into others, a quiet question rises. Who is holding me together? If the answer is no one, or only yourself, something shifts. You begin stepping back from that role, not from anger or resentment, but to honor your own needs. You stop betraying yourself just to keep others comfortable. The habit of people-pleasing fades, replaced by a strong commitment to your peace of mind. And yes, this change can ripple outward, unsettling those who relied on you to carry the weight of connection. Some people may drift away when you stop carrying their weight. But those who remain, those who meet you in this new, more authentic space, are priceless. They see you not as a role or a resource, but as a whole person. They are gold. The physical realities of aging also play a part in this transformation. The body, once dependable, begins to assert its limits. you tire more quickly. Crowded, noisy environments that once energized you now feel overwhelming, grating against your senses. Joints ache, muscles stiffen, your back insists on a proper chair. Suddenly, the idea of a 2-hour dinner with a large group feels less like joy and more like endurance. This physical strain, combined with mental fatigue, makes quiet, restorative time far more appealing. A cozy evening at home, a solitary walk, or a simple coffee with a trusted friend holds more value than a crowded social calendar. So you adapt. You decline invitations that feel like obligations, choose afternoons over late nights, and design a life that respects your body's needs, rather than forcing it into a lifestyle that no longer fits. This isn't giving up. It's listening to yourself with compassion, perhaps for the first time. Then comes another layer, often overlooked: identity. As you age, the roles that once defined you shift or disappear. You're no longer the parent shuttling children to practice or the worker climbing the corporate ladder. You may be retired, or you may have chosen a life more aligned with your values. These changes reshape your social landscape. People you once bonded with, other parents, co-workers, younger relatives, may not feel as connected anymore. Not because of failure on your part, but because your lives no longer move in parallel. Your rhythms diverge, your priorities change, and the common ground you once shared begins to fade. It can feel like loss, but it is also an opportunity. Letting go of connections that no longer resonate isn't abandonment. It's an act of trust in the natural ebb and flow of relationships. We're not meant to hold on to every bond forever. Releasing what no longer serves you can be one of the healthiest and most liberating choices you make. In the space you create, something richer begins to grow, something aligned with your soul's quiet needs. It's found in the stillness of a morning coffee, free from the pressure to perform or please. It's in the phone call with the one person who truly understands you, where words flow without effort. It's in the long walk where you can simply be, no audience, no agenda. What once felt ordinary becomes sacred. You begin to choose depth over distraction, meaning over stimulation, and substance over noise. This isn't about rejecting people. It's about refining your circle and curating a life that reflects who you are now, not who you were decades ago. At first, the process can feel lonely, especially when others don't understand. They might say, "You used to be so outgoing," or "Why don't you come out anymore?" You may struggle to answer because how do you compress a lifetime of quiet realizations into a single sentence? The truth is, you don't owe anyone an explanation. You've earned the right to protect your peace without guilt or apology. And here's something remarkable. This shift towards simplicity and authenticity doesn't just feel good. It can actually extend your life. Research shows that reducing stress and prioritizing emotional well-being are critical to longevity. When you walk away from toxic dynamics, limit overwhelming environments, and choose serenity over obligation, you're not retreating, you're healing. You're conserving energy for what truly matters, whether that's nurturing meaningful relationships, pursuing quiet passions, or simply savoring stillness. Your body feels the difference. Your mind feels it too. That's why so many elders radiate a calm, grounded presence that younger generations admire. They've stopped chasing approval, stopped trying to fix what's broken, and stopped performing for an audience that never truly saw them. With age, the body may move more slowly, but the mind becomes lighter. You may speak less, yet your words carry greater weight. You're not running from connection. You're moving toward yourself, toward the version you were too busy to meet in youth. There's a saying often tied to wisdom. As I grow older, I pay less attention to what people say. I just watch what they do. This captures the heart of the transformation. Aging teaches you to observe more and react less. You no longer need to prove your worth or chase validation from those who never truly saw you. Instead, you choose peace over pride, solitude over forced connection, and truth over tradition. And in these choices, you discover a quiet joy that cannot be manufactured. Here's the paradox. When you stop needing people to fill your life, the right ones begin to appear. Conversations flow without effort. Companionship arrives without demand. And the people who remain are the ones who value the truest version of you. They don't need you to perform or attend every event. They love you for who you are, not who you used to be. In their presence, you realize this journey was never about loss, but about arrival. So if you find yourself saying no more often, savoring the quiet, don't doubt it. You are not fading, you are flourishing. An empty calendar is not loneliness, it is space for peace. A silent phone is not rejection, it is clarity. An afternoon spent in stillness, with a heart full of contentment, is not wasted, it is a triumph. This is what it feels like when life finally fits, when you step into the rhythm of your becoming. We've explored why craving solitude as you age is not only normal, but a sign of wisdom, growth, and self-love. From shedding emotional noise to protecting your peace, these shifts are your soul's way of guiding you toward a life that truly reflects who you are. So, what have you learned from this journey? Which insight speaks most to your life now? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I wish you good health, happiness, and peace always. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Healthy Aging Blueprint.